Okay, next is actually to do with how do you, or can you, or should you communicate a difficult message? So this was actually in two forms. One was actually from a teacher, where there was some miscommunication between him and a colleague, where he got an email, he didn't receive it very well. Then there was a bit of an email traffic, and actually it didn't end that well. And then likewise, actually someone else was saying, how do you give feedback to someone when it's not always positive? And one of the things that we teach on the course is also communication, how kind of important it is. And actually, what was interesting about the email example is that when you write any form of written communication, be it email, text, WhatsApp, whatever, I think it's 54% of the time it's misunderstood, in terms of what your original intent was. But then likewise, when it's misunderstood, 74% of the time, people presume it to be negative. So this is how, in purely written communication, often you can actually get crosswise and it doesn't always end well. And the same would be if you were going to give feedback to someone, if you're their boss, that if you just write it factually on words, it doesn't always go across well. So one of the things that I was taught by a former boss myself is that if you ever need to send anything which is really important, or could be misconstrued, or actually could even just upset someone, the ability to use all the tools that you have to communicate with someone is really important, because actually we communicate a massive amount of information through our tone of voice, our body language, and all those kind of things, which actually sets the context for the written word. So what I would say in both scenarios, that if you receive an email which you don't like, I'd pick up the phone and actually just talk it through with the person. Or likewise, if you need to give feedback to someone, it's always useful to pick up the phone or sit with them in person, listen to them, give them the feedback in person, because you can kind of moderate your response and kind of work through it, and then follow up with the written factual stuff which HR or someone might actually need you to do. But the ability to communicate with everything that you have in terms of your body language, your tone of voice, everything will actually both get you a better end result, which is actually what we're all interested in, but actually just playing email tennis, and I've fell foul of it in the past as well before, where I've sent a message which I meant to be well-intentioned, but it was misread on the other end, and actually it wasn't the best. So it's almost where, if ever you can, pick up the phone first, or even better, see them in person, talk it through, tell them that you're going to send an email, tell them why, listen to their feedback, and then do it, rather than just press send, and actually then you don't really control the output at the other end.